One of the secrets to exposure for your business lies within supporting Black businesses and entrepreneurs. And that is why the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce is here, to connect Black businesses from the desert to the sea. Let's join hands to empower and sustain our community. By becoming a member of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, you can grow your business and increase your clientele. With our innovation, we'll generate new businesses and get new customers. And we'll connect new mindsets with businesses from across Southern California to help bridge the wealth gap. Let's connect, build, and grow together. Join us now at blackchamberofcommerce.org.
What's happening? What's happening? I'm just sharing the page a little bit. Welcome to MyTueSense. I am your host, Deborah P. McLaughlin, back for another episode of MyTueSense, where I give my 2 cents on a plethora of different topics. There's no rhyme or reason other than topics that touch me and in some way. And I believe that if it's something that I can learn from it, there's something that you might want to consider as well. So I like to share the things that come to my mind, things that touch my heart, things that I feel like you guys will want to be a part of, or you want to know about, or just, put things on your mind. What was the one they used to say? So things that make you go, So kind of that, things that make you just think about what we're doing, what's going on, what's happening. With that being said, if you have any topics that you'd like my take on, enter them into the chat or email me at the email below, the milenoble at gmail.com. The Mile Noble is my alter ego. I talked about that last week. Again, it's Mile Noble, MIELENOBLE at gmail.com. And that's down at the bottom of the screen, so you can jot it down. So today's topic is relationships. I have a lot of opinions on this topic. But there's a number of different types of relationships. We can have business relationships, family relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, all of which, can be challenging in one way or another. So we're going to have an open discussion and touch a little bit on a few of these. And joining me today in the discussion is business coach Nikisha Bond. Nikisha, come on in and introduce yourself and tell them what it is that you do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nikisha Bond. I am the VP of Corporate Affairs over here at the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce. And for the Chamber of Commerce, I'm really like the liaison between state and federal agencies, making sure that you can get your money. That's what I want to do. But in my real life, I'm a consultant. I'm a business consultant. So I help businesses either launch or shift CEOs into the position. I'm really great at setting up systems and stuff like that. So, but relationships, I have so many thoughts because me and my husband, we've had a landscape construction company for over 20 years now. And we've been working together, not just with my husband, but with my son and with my daughter. So lots of different relationships that you have to navigate.
Right. So let's get into it. Well, Nikisha and I were having a conversation last week about relationships, and it came about because I was dealing with some personal things and in my life, and I shared with her how I needed a little bit of motivating. And so the more that we talked, the more interesting the conversation became. So I decided that I wanted to bring this topic up immediately. So we're going to get right into it. And I believe in any relationships, we have a responsibility to come with governing guidelines, boundaries on how to best navigate the interactions that we have with people in our lives. Basically, the golden rule of treating people how you would like to be treated. Do you agree, Nikisha?
Yeah, I don't know about the golden rule 100%, but I do try to operate in a way where I can sleep good at night, that I did the right thing. It might not, I would say that not everybody's going to agree with the decision that I might have made at the end of the day, but I do try to make decisions that are in the good for everybody, even if not everybody agrees in the moment. So I'm okay with being the villain sometimes.
And hopefully my microphone is not going in and out because it sounded a little wonky just a second ago. So hopefully that you guys can hear me okay.
I can hear you.
Um, I so we're going to talk first about business relationships. I tend to sit back and watch people um, in a setting where I'm meeting a bunch of new people, the people that I'm meeting for the very first time. What is your suggestion, Nikisha, on how to cultivate and nurture those business relationships?
Okay, so all right. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit in layers. So at the first layer, I'm always evaluating what do I want out of this relationship, and that's going to depend. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
determine how I'm going to treat you. Is what is it that I actually want out of this situation? And so from there, that's going to be the framework that I phrase the conversation. Because in business, we don't have to love each other. We don't have to be best friends. We don't have to skip off into the sunset like maybe in
Right.
relationships. So in business relationships, I like them to be advantageous. I'm doing something for you, you're doing something for me, we're working towards an end goal. So if we don't have that common ground on why we even have this relationship, then we probably can't move forward on business. So first, I like for us to all establish why we're here, because I don't go under the false pretenses that you just love me and I just love you. It's like, no, we're here to make a deal. There should be considerations. This is a contract. So I think of it from that framework. And then from there, I navigate on really like, what do I want from this situation? So I'm very strategic about it. Like, okay, this person works for these types of roles. Now I understand, I get it. I can hear people now like, that's so selfish. And I don't know, like, is it selfish? Does it sound selfish? It sounded a little selfish to me. When I said it out loud, when I actually said it out loud, I'm like, oh, I strategically go in and try to figure out what I'm going to get from this relationship. That doesn't sound good.
Well, I think that, oh shoot, and I don't know if it's my headset or if it's my connection over here. So I didn't catch everything that you said on the end of that, as far as, does that selfish? But I'm assuming that you're saying if when you're going into the relationship that you're trying to figure out what can you get out of this, how you can, how this can be advantageous to you, right?
Right. For business, yeah.
And for business. So now we're talking about different types of business relationships. Like, what about, okay, so if you're dealing with partnerships, like you and your husband, you guys have a partnership in your business, right?
Right.
You guys work together.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
But what about as far as dealing with, do you have any employees that work with you?
I do have more subcontractors, some employees, but like a lot of them are my kids. Like 2 of them or 3 of them are my kids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I work with
okay, so what about vendors that you work with? So the subcontractors would be basically vendors that you work with. How about when you're dealing with relationship? I guess it was kind of like what you already answered, and how can we work together and how is this going to be advantageous? But if you have a situation in dealing with a contractor, how would you deal with them versus how you would deal with your husband?
Well, I'm always willing to walk away. So I got to see how far we're going to take this relationship, because there's only so much I'm willing to give. And I always have a point where I will opt out. So with my husband,
we're not talking about the husband. We're talking about.
Yeah, with the husband, there's no point. But like with
there's no walking away. There's okay.
But exactly.
With the
the husband, you got to have a little bit more. But with the vendors, it's more like, okay, this is what I want to get out of it. And if you're not willing to give me what I want to get, then I'm going to find somebody who is. That's really what that is. So it's not, I guess it's just not personal. I don't have a personal relationship.
I think that's that's a situation, I think, before you've actually gotten inside of a deal with them. So say you're mid a deal. You already started the construction job. You already have this subcontractor coming in and you have an issue with their work or their employees. How do you handle that situation?
That's okay. So I love that. So I always try to focus on the problem and not the person, because when we're focusing on the problem, we can actually find a solution. So if I'm working with the vendor and let's say that they didn't send the right materials, or let's say that they messed up something, I'm going to focus on how do we fix it? How are we going to resolve this? How do we get this back on track? I'm not going to focus on you did this wrong. Right. You messed up. You're a failure. I don't focus on that. So once we get the situation resolved, then I go back and do a retrospective on that relationship and say, is this a vendor that I want to keep going with this through? Was this like a one-time situation, or is this something that's ongoing with them? Is this a character issue, or is this just something that just happened and we just are working through it? So if the relationship is vendor is important, then I'm going to try and nurture that, and we're going to try and get through it. I'm going to try and get an understanding of where they're coming from. If they just messed up and they don't have any remorse, then I'm probably just going to let them go and move on.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just a situation. Things happen, and sometimes it's out of our control. And as long as they're dealing with you in a professional manner, and they're willing to take responsibility for whatever it is that their mistake was, it's like, okay, we can put that one behind us, and it's okay. I don't have a problem dealing with them on another deal, on another job, or whatever it is, as long as their work is good.
Right. Exactly. That again, and that goes back to how much do you value the relationship? Yeah. How much is the relationship valuable? Do you have an alternative? Because
one thing that I recognized when you and I had the conversation last week is how different we are and how we think and how we approach situations or even conversations. So you know how you do the icebreakers, the team building exercises, getting to know a group of people, blah, blah, blah. Well, this was one of those type of situations where this friend of mine, she asked me, she said, if you were a fruit, what kind of fruit would you be and why? And I was like, okay, I thought about that for a second. I said, well, my answer was grapes. And grapes, because whether you get a little bit of me or you get a lot of me, you get the whole me. So it doesn't matter how much of me you're getting, you're going to get the whole me. I'm going to be there all in. I'm going to give you, me. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to overload you with what it is or how it is, because that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your perspective. Because I'm a good person, and for some people, it's hard to trust people that portray themselves as a good person in the beginning, because their experience tells them that a lot of times everybody wants something from you, and you can't trust everybody. So if it sounds like it's too good to be true, then it might be too good to be true. So when they look at me, sometimes I feel like I have to get past that period. So you see, okay, this is her. This is how she is. All right. I'm not going to be looking at her side eye, because I have people that look at me side eye. I had a friend that told me, he's like, people like you scare me. And I was like,
that's a weird response.
People like me. He was like, always positive, always happy. He's like, you've seen me all kind of crazy, but I've never even seen you angry. I've never seen you upset. And I told him that it's not that I don't get upset or angry or emotional and go through stuff that breaks me down. It's just that when I go through my stuff, I stay to myself. I keep to myself. I get into my gardening or whatever, my writing, and I tend to keep my problems or my issues to myself. And then I deal with people when I'm in a better place, and I can go back outside. Mm-hmm. It's because whatever I'm dealing with, it probably has nothing to do with them, for one. And I'm reflective, so I'll take that time and I'll look at myself. I believe in going through, and I think I had told you this the other day, I believe in going through versus sweeping it on the rug. So if I'm grieving, I want to feel my grief. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to, cry if I need to cry. I'm going to scream if I need to scream. And I'm going to go beast myself still if I need to beast myself still. I'm not going to pretend that I don't feel what I feel. So I'm going to do that. And I believe it's a process that you have to go through to get to the other side of whatever it is. Otherwise, it's going to come back again and again until you learn from that or you grow from that. Then, like I said, after I've dealt with it and I'm good, then I can go back outside. So how do you deal with situations where you get emotional, or do you get emotional?
So I do get emotional, but it's very it's like I get emotional and I immediately notice it. And now I'm in, okay, how am I going to deal with this? And so it just depends on what type of emotion that you give me. Yeah. So like if you're being petty with me, then I'm going to probably be petty with you. So I'll give you an example. I was talking to this guy at the bank, and I was working with the client, and I told the client that they could go and do something. And then the banker was like, oh, no, they can't do that. So like when they got on the phone with me, they already had an attitude of, oh, you're some type of scammer and you're giving her the wrong information and I'm going to show you type attitude. And so when I'm talking to him, she didn't explain to him properly, or he didn't listen to her on what she was actually asking. So I'm trying to explain it to him. And he's like just having an attitude with me. And so like I'm petty. Now we're petty. It's petty time all day long. That's fine. I'll meet you right where you are. And I wasn't rude, but I was like very in your face, and I was matching his energy and taking it up one step. So when the whole conversation was done and I talked to my client again, and she was like, you had him so shook. He was like shaking. He could not move forward. Like you really had him shook. And I'm like, I am a mirror when it comes to that. I come into every situation. I want to make a deal. I want to make this work. I want it to work for you. I want it to work for me. I want us to both win. So that's my attitude. So when I come in and resistance, I'm like, that resistance right there is like telling me something. I'm running into that resistance. And that's now going to determine how I respond, because I came here to try and make a deal with you. And if you're making it difficult, you don't really want the same deal that I want. And you also want to make this process a lot harder. Instead of you just saying what it is that you want or what you don't like or what you want to change, you're doing this passive, aggressive, emotional thing that you're trying to bring me into. And I'm immediately like, I'm going to show you that I don't play that game. And because I don't have a problem with my words, and I don't have a problem with saying something in the moment when it's happening, like we're going to solve it right now. You know, if you're upset, like we'll solve it right now. And I got all the words to say, it's like, for me, it doesn't bother me, but I know that that's very confronting to a lot of people when people just immediately have a comeback and they're matching your energy on site. I know a lot of people don't feel very comfortable with that, but that's kind of how I do it, is I just mirror it back to
being confrontational.
Yeah, because like if you came to confront and you thought I was going to back down, you picked the wrong one, and you picked the right day, because I'll make time for you today. Like I don't have a problem with it, because it doesn't bother me to be petty. It doesn't bother me to be petty. It doesn't bother me to confront. It doesn't bother me to get into somebody's face about something if I believe in it, right? If I don't believe in it, then maybe I'm not gonna go hard on it. But like if I really feel like I'm right, and don't give me some righteous indignation. So I'm a little different. Like I don't have a problem.
We're gonna get right back into this. We're gonna take a commercial break and we're gonna come right back. Okay.
All right.
Business owners are raving about the new talk show, Strictly Business, with host Rich Wallace. Tune in as the top experts in business share their success stories, strategies, guidance, and advice to help you grow your business. With guests from the top companies to your favorite influencers, Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace is the show to watch for all things business. Our conversations are strictly business. We discuss new funding options, new business initiatives, best business practices, all things business explained. We provide you with the tips you need for your business, all in one morning business talk show. Be sure to tune in. Are you a business owner? Do you have a story to share? Are you able to help our audience? Then we want you on Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace. Visit the website at edgetvnetwork.net and select Be a Guest to schedule your appearance today.
Okay, so we're back. It stopped in the middle of her. My dog was barking at me and he was like, I need food. It's like, okay, let me get some food.
Let me take care of you. You are in charge.
Right. So there is a hierarchy in businesses, right? You have this, I'm not talking so much corporate, but it could be the corporate people too. You have the general manager, you have your assistant manager, you have all these people, right? And then you have regional managers and all these people that come in. How do you feel like you should handle them any differently from anybody else? Because I feel like a lot of times people are, oh my gosh, the regionals manager is in, and he's this and she's that, and you know, we got to take care of them. Da, da, da. Do you deal with them any differently? Because to me, people are people. I'm going to speak to the manager. I'm going to speak to the custodian. I'm going to speak to the supervisor. I'm going to talk to them the very same way.
No,
I don't believe that people should be, because, you know, they've earned that position. Maybe they've earned that position. but I just personally don't feel like I should treat them any different.
No, I agree. I don't think you should treat them any different either. And you know what? I've worked on so many jobs where I created my own title for my job position. Even the title I have now, VP of Corporate Affairs, I made that up. So, so those titles just don't impress me because who knows? It's just people in a room just making them up. Now, people who like they take those titles and like it changes who they are. You can always tell those people. There's people who just kind of like have a title that describes what they do. And then there's people who have a title and it describes like who they are, right? Without that title, they feel like they lose a bit of their identity. And that's why so many people want to be like validated in that title because it's part of their identity. So I do understand it. I probably just don't respect it as much as maybe I should.
Okay, say something else because
Testing. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. You sound good.
So it kind of goes to walk at some point. So I don't know if it's my connection or if it's yours. So that's why I was like, okay, just let her finish. But anyway, moving right along. Now we're going to get into, so we talked a little about the business relationship, how you deal with employees, which is different from how you would deal with employers, which is different from how you deal with your vendors or your subcontractors or your partnerships because of the type of relationship that you have. Not that you treat them any differently, but as far as how much effort you're willing to put into this, whether this is a temporary thing, whether it's a long-term thing, whether you're trying to build something, you're trying to grow something. I think that's where you're going to put more or less effort into cultivating and nurturing that relationship. So what about friendships? How are they different?
I don't know if I'm a good person for the friendship one, just because I've been doing business for so long that it's like there's different.
Are you from here?
Originally, I'm from Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you graduate high school and go to college?
Yeah, I graduated high school out here. Yeah, I'm a California girl for argument's sake. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So do you have friends in Virginia still?
Yeah. So I not in Virginia because I was young when we left. So I do have friends from like high school and middle school that I still hang out with, like a group of girls. But like that's about it. So like I would say people who just knew me before college or before I had my kids, I have those friends. But then like mostly everybody after that is usually like business acquaintance / friend.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was here. So I came from a military family and we moved around a lot. We had, so when somebody asks me where am I from, I go through this long list of where I was raised here. I graduated high school here. I raised my children here. I was born here. All these different places. Everywhere is different. So it's like home to me is very different. So those relationships, some of those relationships from elementary school, middle school, high school that I still kept, most of them are from because I basically in Louisiana since I was 10 till I graduated high school and got married. So a lot of them are there in Louisiana. And there are people that I went to school with in elementary school that I still keep in touch with, that we still talk from time to time, people that I was in high school with, people that, one friend of mine, we were in junior high school, we met, couldn't stand each other. I couldn't tell you why we couldn't stand each other. But you know how the teachers would give you papers to pass around and we would throw each other's papers on the floor, instead of and I have no idea why we were not friends. But we got in high school and in high school we became friends. And we've been friends ever since. And that's crazy because she's one of the few people that I still keep in touch with. And there's a few people there. There's a few people in Louisiana. There's a few people in Georgia. There's a few people in Florida that I still keep in touch with. But I'm not a person I don't have a lot of friends that I hang out with.
Yeah.
I have groups of people like when I do stuff with the chamber or my karaoke crew or whatever. But as far as everyday hang out, do stuff with, I spend a lot of time by myself.
Mm.
But as far as I actually talked to one of my old friends today. I reached out to him because he came up, something on my phone reminded me of him. And I hadn't talked to him in a long time. So I reached out to him and I didn't get him at first. And then when I called him back later, we're talking. He's like, oh, I'm so glad you called me, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, we haven't missed any time. I have another friend. If I call him, if I hadn't spoken to him in a while, he'll answer the phone and act like, we just hung up, like we just got off the phone. Yeah. And so what happened was, he just go right in there. He don't even say hello. He just say, just
I
like
love
we
friends like
just
that. Yeah,
continue
I
the
need friends like
conversation.
that. Yeah, I gotta have low
But it's
maintenance
like
friends.
when you have some friendships that you've nurtured and they've stood the test of time over the years. What about meeting new people, and what about friends of friends? How does that work? Because sometimes I meet people and we click immediately. Like, I love you already. I just met you, but I love you.
I love people I love when I meet people and I just automatically love them. Like there's just something about it that's simpatico. I like that. Yeah. I think as we get older, it gets more difficult to have those types of friendships and stuff. But I do try to at least, once a year, once a couple times a year to get together with those friends or to reach out to them or send them a text message. I think the main thing is like I'm a low maintenance friend. Like you don't need to call me all the time. You
Right,
don't need to check on me all the time. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But do reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm not
right.
going to all the parties or all the events and stuff like that, because most of the time I'm too busy anyway. Just reach out to me and just like, hey, I know. Or like my sisters, I have two sisters and they go to Vegas all the time. They travel together all the time, but I'm always working. But they still invite me, and I'm like, oh, thank you. I just want to be invited. I know I can't go, but I just want to be invited.
Right. Because I might
Yeah.
be able to go one of these times,
You never know.
right?
I could surprise
You
you.
never
I
know. I
could
might
surprise
surprise you
you.
guys. When I have, and my family is all over the place too, but it's like when I have those friendships, the thing about it is that, like I said, I spend a lot of time by myself. But if I feel like a person is, when you meet people, a lot of times, especially if you meet them in groups, you may hear things about them. And for me, people are just like when you start school. Everybody has an A right now because we ain't did nothing. You ain't did nothing to bring that A down. So that's how I go in, because people handle relationships differently. They deal with certain people differently. I would say, yeah, that might have been your experience with them, but that was never my experience with them.
Yeah.
Um, so do you find that a lot of times that when you're warned about someone, do you kind of keep it in the back of your head, or you kind of give them a clean slate?
Yeah, no, I'm like you. I give people a clean slate because I've seen firsthand on how people have treated other people, which makes me understand why that person has that perspective of them. So I do give everybody a clean slate. But I think one of the other things that I realize when we're talking about like friends and business and why I kind of keep them separate
Yeah.
is because I had this job one time, and at the time, like I was really excited. It was like my first real big corporate job working for like a big organization. And they were like, oh, we're gonna have like a sleepover. And I was like, oh, cool, we're gonna have all sleepover. It was like at this lady's house, and we were having fun. We were having a good time. So as the night
Mm-hmm.
progressed and as the libations started to pour, everybody started to change, right? So like the professional, people that you work with started to turn into these after hour peoples, which were very, very different people. So, and this was a long time ago.
Right.
Right? We ended up at this we ended up at the strip club. I don't know how we got there. And when we came home with one of the guys that worked in the warehouse, and there was a bunch of us here. And by that time, I was like, okay, I'm out. First of all, I'm a grown woman. I'm not going to be sleeping in a sleeping bag. So I left. But then the next day, I found out that in the morning, they found him outside, the guy from the warehouse with no pants on, laying outside in the backyard. And it was at that point that I realized you might need to have a separation between your personal and professional life for a lot of people. Like if you knew
For
me
those reasons,
for
for
those
those
reasons
reasons
right
right
there.
there.
And I've heard so
I
many
did know a guy. I did know a guy that he's over a team of people. He manages this operation, and he doesn't hang out with
Yeah.
the guys like that for that very same reason, because I think they see you differently, especially if it's people that you work with and people that have they have control over whether or not you stay on the job.
You learn a lot of secrets about people after hours. When people start getting drunk, I don't like to go to work events where people are drinking for that reason there, because there's always somebody. There's always somebody that does something that I'm like,
It's
I can
drinking too
never see you
much.
the same again. I can never see you the same again.
Right. And I stay pretty much to myself, because I don't smoke and I don't drink, so I don't ever get in a position where I don't know what's going on. I'm always going to be sober minded, and that may be another reason why I'm kind of, I stay to myself, because when you have those type of habits, you kind of have some camaraderie with those people, and it's like, I don't drink, so yeah, I'll hang out, but I'm not going to drink, and I'm not going to get out of control in any kind of way.
Right? And you think that would be the appropriate
Sir.
response, but they actually want you. Like, I've noticed that I had another corporate job where they wanted to like go out to all these long team dinners. Like they were 2 or 3 hours. Of course, the company paid for it. And it was like work and
Hmm.
strategic, but like we're still at a dinner meeting. And I was like, you know what? I'm really
Right.
tired. I just want to go
Exactly.
home. Like if it's not required for me to be here, I don't want to be here. And they're like, yeah, it's not required for you to be here, but it looks really good. And it shows that you're a team player. And I'm like, so basically, you guys are forcing me to spend 2 to 3 hours of my own personal time hanging out with everyone just so that everybody, and like I'm like you, I don't drink, I'm not doing any of that stuff. So I don't want to sit there for all those times. I'd rather just go home. But it is, very social. So you have to find, you got to pick and choose your battles. To me, it doesn't matter what day it is. I'm just always going to be too busy to do it. Like I'm just not going to do it because I'm always going to be too busy. Like I haven't found, and after the stories that I hear, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good. I'm glad I stayed at home. I'm glad I never learned that about that person. I'm glad that we can just have a professional relationship.
I do like to not be around when stuff hits the fan. I do like to have, to be able to say, yep, I don't have nothing to do with that. I wasn't around that. I wasn't in that. Because wrong place, wrong time.
Mhm.
Stuff happens just for you being in certain situations, and yeah, I'm just glad not to be in those type of spaces, and when things pop off, but they can pop off anywhere,
They really can. They really can.
literally
Yeah.
anywhere. But just keeping
Professional decorum, right? Like we should just,
right,
yeah.
right, exactly. But I say that I kind of stay to myself and I kind of keep to myself, like when I'm going through stuff. It's a little bit different when you're talking about romantic relationships,
Mm.
because then, just like you were talking about your husband earlier, because now you got to cultivate that a little bit more. You have to nurture that a little better. You have to work on that, and you have to be considerate of them and what's going on with them at the same time. So when I'm going through stuff, and normally I would say to myself, to the outside world, nobody would know what's going on with me. Nobody know that I'm having a bad day. Nobody would know that I have situations happening. Like my friend said, I've never seen you upset. And we had known each other for years. He had never seen me angry or mad or anything. It's just like, I would take it on the chin. But for someone that that's close to me, like relationship, like romantic relationships, so we have more intimate conversations and sharing and that kind of thing, then I want to talk about all of it. I want to sit down, I want to go through whatever it is, and if we're having an issue, if we're having the stuff, like I was saying, I don't want to brush it up under the rug. I want us to talk about it. And um, I know you were saying how you're going to say whatever you're going to say it in the moment. I'm more of, okay, maybe we need to have this conversation a little bit later, because I want to consider my words. I want to consider what it is that I'm saying, because I can't take it back after
Right.
I say it. I can't take it back. So I want something that's conducive to conversation. So when I bring this conversation up again, we can continue that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are dealing with your husband, do you shut down at all, or do you like have you say whatever you need to say at that in that moment, like you would do in other situations?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I got the words ready, and also too, I've got the words ready, and I've learned that but I also have learned to try to approach the situation that I want to resolve it, and I want to find out
Exactly.
where the miscommunication is. So I don't approach it more antagonistic. So I like with a vendor and stuff, it's like, what do I want? What am I trying to get? Where's the hard line? And are you going to give it to me, or do I need to go
Right.
over your head? But with my husband, it's more like, okay, I see that we're now in a disagreement. We do not have a meeting of the minds. So we don't have a contract because we don't have a meeting of the minds. So now I'm going to approach it and say, is this something that's worth what we're about to get into? Is this a me thing? Is this something that maybe I just need to deal with and I'm projecting onto him? Because sometimes that is the issue, right? Like maybe I'm just frustrated
Right.
about things that are going on in my life, and maybe he did something and I'm taking the frustration that I have in my life or things that are going on with me, and I'm taking the one thing that he did and I'm taking all that energy and I'm putting it on that thing. And I try really hard not to do that. So I try to see, is this even worth a conversation? Where are we coming from? And also, what do I want out of it? And most of the time when I'm talking to my husband, I want him to understand where I'm coming from. So I want him to understand where I'm coming from and why I'm saying what I'm saying. So I do try to choose my battles and don't make everything an argument. Not everything needs to be a fight. Not everything needs to be conversated on, and pick and choose and be
Right.
judicious about it. And then when
Right.
I do have that
Right.
conversation, if it starts to get like elevated and escalated, I try to stay calm, and I try to remember, especially if it has to do with business, that it's not personal. We're having a conversation with a meeting of the minds. If I was talking to my employee, would I say those things? No. If I'm talking to a vendor, would I say those things? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So I try to be really respectful. And like you said, you can't take things
Mm-hmm.
back. So I'm always going to wordsmith it in a way where we're focusing on the problem, not focusing on the person, where we're dealing with the outcome and how we can have better outcomes, where we're dealing with like, okay, this is just me giving you feedback, constructive feedback. Can you take this into consideration? So I try different approaches depending on what it is, but sometimes you're angry and you just say things when you're angry, and you just have to learn how to get better at that. So I think
How to get better at that. But one of the things that I find myself doing is taking a moment.
Yeah.
And like I said, I choose my words. So rather than blurting out something into saying something that I want to, immediately take back, because you can't take it, you can't bring those words back in. I'll just think on it,
Words back in.
even if we're going to have that conversation now. And I was like, okay. And I'll, and then say whatever it is that I need to say in a way. And I might slow my speech down. So I'm picking the words, I'm picking how I'm saying it, because I don't want to give the wrong impression in any kind of way, because we're on the same team. However it is, whatever it is that we're dealing with, we're on the same team. So we want to get to the other side of that and get to a better understanding of it. Because most of the time is miscommunication or misunderstandings.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find that if you keep talking, you'll figure it out. You'll find out you're probably, one, saying the exact same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and two, looking at it totally different. It's like, oh, I misunderstood. I thought this is what you were talking about when you said that, but this is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's the perspective, but going in there and wanting to resolve the situation and take the better of whatever options that we have out there, because we want to do better. We want to do the best, the most efficient, whatever it is that we got going on with this situation. And I'm not going to say something every time, like you're saying. It's not every situation. It's not every little thing that I noticed, but I noticed. I'm going to put it back here. I noticed it. I noticed it one time, and I may not say anything the first time, but if something happens again and I see that, okay, I may need to address this because this may become an issue. Because if we don't address it, it's going to come back. It's going to happen again. And, like I said, not sweeping it up on the rug, just dealing with it and getting to the other side of it. It's not easy. Some of those conversations are difficult to have because a lot of times we're putting a mirror up in front of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting up a mirror saying, oh, well, I felt this way, but I was the one doing that. I was doing the same thing you were doing. I kept telling you were cutting me off, but I was cutting you off. You know, whatever it is, a lot of times. And when my ex-husband, I found that way back when I had issues with whatever it was, a lot of times I was doing the exact same things. Like, but who started it? I'm only doing it because you did it. You
made me.
Either way. Like, but I didn't even say that. I was talking about something else. You misunderstood me.
Right.
I saw this thing where there was this couple, and there was this story, and there was this couple. This woman went to visit her guy, and when she got there, her guy was talking to her, and his brother was there, and his brother's looking at her. They're both thinking that this is their woman. She's a twin.
Oh.
They don't know each other, so she's calling him babe, but he's saying, why are you calling him babe? I'm babe. You know, they were going back and forth, but they wouldn't let her get a word out edgewise. And the guy broke up with her. They both didn't want to have anything to do with her. She went home, told her sister, and her sister's like, well, what? He's like, he thought I was cheating on him with his brother. He's like, his brother? He's like, well, what's his brother's name? The twin was dating the other guy. So they end up both going over there together. And it's like, had they taken the moment to hear what she had to say, then they could have figured that out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know, breaking up and going through all of that. It's like, just take the time and listen. We're going to take another commercial break right quick, and we'll be right back, and we'll be finishing this out.
Are you ready to change your life? Let us help you. At Youth Build Charter School, you can get a high school diploma and kickstart your dream career in no time. We offer high school diploma programs in construction, CNA, military, college, and entrepreneurship. If you are between the age of 16 and 24 and you want to manage your studies with a job, recover your credits, or graduate early, we can help you achieve your dream. Call us at 1-888-395-4408 or visit youthbuildinlandempire.org.
And we're back. It's funny when you have those couple minutes and it's like, what am I doing? Let me clip over here and let me be ready when it comes back to me. But we're talking about relationships, and because relationships are so different and people are so different in how they communicate and how they react and respond to situations, I think we always take a look at and, you know, check ourselves, because I try to check myself in whatever situation it is and go back and have that conversation with myself, have that conversation with the other party, because especially in a romantic relationship, I feel like there shouldn't be anything left unsaid. So if I feel like there's something that I did not say that I should have said, whether it's apologizing, whether it's getting a better understanding, whether it's showing the perspective or showing where I was coming from, because I saw how that could come across. You know, I will take that time and make sure that I'm expressing whatever it is that I feel like needs to be said. And even if I've broken up with someone, if I feel like I didn't say something that I needed to say, I'm going to say something, whether it's in a letter, a text message, an email, or something. I'm going to say whatever I feel like I left out, whether I was wrong, whether I, you know, wanted to just clarify some things or whatever it is. I just feel like you shouldn't leave words unsaid. What is the most difficult relationship that you've ever had?
Probably my kids, you know, just because they take so much from you. And like with everybody else, you can tell them
Mm.
no, right? You can have boundaries, but with your kids, you can't really have as many boundaries as you want. Like they open up the door and come into the bathroom with you. Mom, I need, and you're like, really? So I think learning,
Girl, there's boundaries.
that's why I had to learn to lock the door, because as soon as they could open the door, they were in that bathroom looking for me. So, and I got 4 kids. So I think it takes a lot
You know
from
what?
me.
I think the thing with the kids is that your relationship with them changes so much. You go from their caregiver to their support to you watching these as adults, and you need to kind of let them fly out of the nest. So it's like you have different stages, and you want them to grow, you want to teach them, and you want to nurture them and give them the best tools in order to deal with this thing called life.
Right.
So I can understand that. We didn't even get into that. We talked about family a little bit, but the relationship with the parent and the child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I like them now,
especially when you said you
I like older kids. Like now that my kids are, I got the last one's going to be graduating in June. So like I'm knocking on empty nesters' door. So I'm excited about that. But I like them being older because now they're more like, one, they're partners in the business and they're more friends. And it's just more, I can understand them a lot more. I never considered myself like a mom. I'm more of like an auntie mom. I feel like that fits my personality more. Like I'm not the mom who's gonna like bake cookies for you, you know what I'm saying? But like if you have a problem, like I'll help you solve it, and like we'll brainstorm things together. And like I'm very nurturing and caring, but not in, I don't know, at least not the way my mom was with we. My mom was very
not
like
in a mothering
not
way,
so much in a mothering way.
No, I understand.
Like in my own way, because I think I felt like my mom had such a high standard of mothering, and I was like, I'm never going to reach that. So, and I don't want to put myself in a position where I feel resentful to try to be something that I know that I'm not. And I'm not one of those people that's okay with sacrificing me for other people, even if it's my kids, even if it's my husband or anybody. I become resentful for that after a while. So I just have to know me to know what I am and what I'm not willing to give. And I think that's why boundaries and like some of these things that we're talking about with relationships are a little easier for me, because I just don't have the tolerance to deal with certain things. Like there's just certain things I'm not willing to tolerate. Like I couldn't have a friend who was like always negative or always had issues. Like we just couldn't be friends, because I can't vibrate on that level with you. And I can't have kids need to be something for them. They have to accept me for who I am. Like I'm not, you can't make me be a version of motherhood that makes you feel comfortable. You have to accept me for who I am. And in return, I will accept you for who you are. And I won't try to make you into a kid to do all the things that maybe I never did in high school or whatever. Like I'm going to respect your sovereignty as an individual, as a person, and you're going to need to respect mine. So you're not going to be able to put me in a mom jar and make me be a mom like you see, on TV or wherever you get your mom thing from. You're gonna have to, this is my version of motherhood, and it's gonna have to be okay for you. Because that's all I got.
I think the difference, so I have 5 children.
You win.
And I think each one of them are different. So it's not that you have favorites. It's just that you deal with different personalities a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was this big thing about whether the kids, because I don't believe in having favorites in your kids. Your kids, your grandkids, I don't believe in none of that. It's like, no, these are my kids, these are my grandbabies, these are whatever, right?
You find what you love in each one of them.
And so, but your relationship may be a little bit different just because of the personalities different. So how they handle things, how they deal with things, how they need to be nurtured, how the conversations that you have is different. One of my boys used to check on me wherever I'm going. Another one of them, he would give me those little morsels of wisdom here and there. And it's like, my kids, I was doing this talk because I used to do MyTueSense on Facebook and just do it live. And so I did this conversation about favorite kids. Is it a thing? Is it good? Is it not good? And one of my boys got onto the live. He was on the live. He's like, yeah, Mom, we know who your favorite is. Well, I had a conversation with each one of my kids. Everybody had a different person that they thought was the favorite.
That's
So
funny.
I was like, there's no way. Because so if there was a favorite, it would be the consensus would be unanimous, right? But everybody had a different person that they thought was a favorite. But it's really just, you deal with them differently. Like my girls didn't want hugs. They didn't want, me to be all over them and touching it. And even with taking pictures, I'm a photographer, right? And
Mhm.
so I was big with taking pictures, and I want to take pictures. They wouldn't let me take pictures of them, but they would get my camera and they would even change outfits and up in the stairwells and out in the woods taking pictures of each other. So the relationship was different, and you deal with them differently. It's like, okay, she'll take pictures with her, but she won't take pictures with me. So that's that goes back to, people have different experiences with people. And most of the time, the perspective that you take with whatever it is makes a huge difference on how you react, respond, and deal with anybody that's in your life.
100%. And that's why, kind of what you were saying about the favorites, you just have to look at your kids, find what you love, and focus on that, and find what you love in each one of them. And that's why when my kids say, "Who's your favorite?" I'm like, I love you guys all for different reasons. Like, you all give me something different. Like, I have a different relationship with each one of them because each one of them are very, very different. And like you said, they require
Mm-hmm.
different things from you. And I felt like,
Right.
as a mom, if you can deal with your kids, or as a parent, if you can deal with your kids as an individual, then they can give you the respect of dealing with you as an individual and recognizing that you don't have all the answers, that this is the first time you've ever, raised
Right.
kids before. Cut me some slack. You're doing the best that you can. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again because I always thought it was so great. I heard this guy, he was talking to his wife, and he said, if I say something to you and you could take it either way, take it the good way. I'm your husband. I love you. And that's how I wanted my kids to
Give
look
me
at
the
it.
benefit of the doubt.
Two-way.
Right.
Give me the benefit of the doubt. I love you. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
Right.
Or like even my daughter, we were having
Right.
a conversation today about politics, and like we disagree. And you know me, like I don't have a problem, so I'm like getting passionate, and she's like, "Okay, calm down. I'm trying to understand." I said, and so we went through the whole thing, and at the end, I was like, "But at the end of the day, I love that you have your own mind. Don't agree with me because I have a strong stance. I have a perspective that's different from
Right.
yours. Stand up for your perspective, and it's okay that you have a different
Right.
perspective. And I'm glad that you're able to express yourself, even if we don't agree, and even if the conversation is that we just agree to disagree." And so I think when we can have more of those things of respecting people, relationships in general get a lot easier, because I think what ends up happening in relationships is that we want to change people, right? I need you to behave a certain way to make me feel better.
Right.
So if you don't change
Right.
your behavior, I can't feel better. So you're going to have to
If
change,
you, I'm
which is
going to need you to
ridiculous,
fix this.
right? And it's
Sometimes there
ridiculous.
is a conversation and a compromise. Sometimes there is a conversation and a compromise when you get an understanding of what it does to the other person or how they feel about a certain situation. One of the other things that I just wanted to kind of touch on is that, for example, in the corporate world, or in the business, an employee, a manager, a supervisor, a regional manager, they all have different roles. They
Mm.
all have different focuses on whatever is going on. So when the manager is coming in and they're trying to make sure that the schedules are tight and that we got the coverage, and then the regional manager is looking for the numbers and making sure that they've got the sales and they've got this and that, their goals are different. So how they handle people are going to be different. What they're focusing on is going to be different. The conversations that they have is going to be different because of what their focus is. So I think a lot of times if we understand um, their perspective, it's a little easier to deal with them with whatever it is. If you're looking at the big picture versus looking at the here and now, what's in front of you, that's a totally different perspective right there.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, absolutely. I know we only have
So
about
we only have
5 minutes.
yeah, we only have about 5 minutes left, and that time went by so fast.
Right?
And I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk that I was thinking about bringing up next week, and I'm not sure which one it was. Because I was kind of thinking about exercise, general workout, and exercise, and preparing for the summer beach body.
Mhm. Getting our summer bodies together.
That was, yeah, the somebody, or I don't know. So that's one of the things on my mind. I'm not sure if that's going to be the topic of conversation next week, but you guys send me some emails, send some comments, and we'll consider whatever topics. This was fun. I appreciate Nikisha being on and sharing her perspective from the business part of it. But this was great. So we're going to have one more commercial break and we're going to close out. And I appreciate you guys. Oh, Nikisha.
Yes.
Tell them again about your show and when they can come and see it.
Yes, I'm going to be live tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same channel. So make sure you join. It'll be a live call-in show. So if you have any questions or you want to talk to me or you just want to chit chat about some chamber stuff, we will be live tomorrow at 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m. And I will be back here Tuesday next week, 6 p.m. on Tuesday with MyTueSense. And MyTueSense and your 2 cents together, maybe we can put it together and make some sense. But again, you guys, I appreciate you guys watching. If you're watching this on the replay, I would still like for you to send your emails, put your messages, because we will go back and look at the comments and that sort of thing. So if you have a comment that you want to leave or you have a topic that you'd like us to talk about, send us an email or make a comment on any of the videos and we will check it out. Thank you so much.
One of the secrets to exposure for your business lies within supporting Black businesses and entrepreneurs. And that is why the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce is here, to connect Black businesses from the desert to the sea. Let's join hands to empower and sustain our community. By becoming a member of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, you can grow your business and increase your clientele. With our innovation, we'll generate new businesses and get new customers. And we'll connect new mindsets with businesses from across Southern California to help bridge the wealth gap. Let's connect, build, and grow together. Join us now at blackchamberofcommerce.org.